Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks bringing you an update on the NASDAQ-100 Index. I did record this the week of Friday, June 10th, 2022. One of the reasons I'm doing this update is because, the analysis is working well, as it often does, I might say. But, I just thought I had a lot of views on that last video. I had a lot of comments. This was also, by the way, the NASDAQ 100. I do a daily NASDAQ 100 ETF, or the Triple Q. It's called the Daily Triple Q Report. So everything you're going to see in this video, I do on a daily basis for my subscribers at wickedstocks.com. If you're interested, you may have a look at that. It's only $25 a month for the Daily Triple Q. I give you very highly precise, specific support and resistance levels, as you'll see in the video to follow, as well as buy and sell recommendations based on, the violation of certain line studies. So we're going to just want you to know that it is available on a day-to-day basis. So if you trade the NASDAQ 100 options, you could definitely use the Triple Q analysis that I provide on a day-to-day basis. They're 5 to 10 minute videos, a downloadable PDF file with newsletter format with support and resistance levels. And I also shoot a video based on that newsletter, you can see. And so there you have it. And so all these levels, all the methods that I use, the speed line analysis, are all the same in the Triple Q. So you could trade NASDAQ. If you trade NASDAQ 100 options, you could definitely use the Triple Q. And if you obviously trade the Triple Q itself or the Triple Q options, you should have a look at the Daily Triple Q. Anyway, here's what we have. So this is a descending 1/3 speed line, as I mentioned in last week's video. I'm giving you the numbers this week, the week of Monday, June 6th. I did record and upload this video to YouTube on Friday, June 10th. And I'm also giving you, these are all weekly bar charts. I'm also giving you next week's descending 1/3 speed line for the week of Monday, June 13th. It comes in at 12,685.37. This speed line has been holding nicely. It is trend defining. And just a reminder of how it's actually constructed. If you see that horizontal line, I should have made that in red, actually. It intersects with, in fact, I got an arrow here. It intersects at the place in which the speed line is created. In other words, I'm just kind of giving you a basic as to how these are created. You take the move high from November of 2021, last November, against the more recent May low from about a month ago. And the moment that low is put out, not necessarily the moment, but the day of, all you need is a very modest bounce. You've got a new low. You can be constructing a new speed line. And as long as that low remains untested, remains the low, that speed line is good. And so this speed line has been good since that week that low was put out a month ago. And I've been following it ever since as our trend defining resistance on a mid to longer term basis. It is an area that, if tested, and it has been the last 2 weeks, can contain at least weekly, if not monthly, buying pressures, and below which the NASDAQ 100 remains on the defensive, on its heels, can fail quite easily and fall to long-term support. Now, what is long-term support? For me, it's a rising 2/3 speed line that is based on, you can see here, the March 2020 low. That's a significant, I call that the COVID low, against the more recent November 21 high. And this is the rising 2/3. And you can see very similar how I'm showing you how it's actually constructed. And it's nothing more than a rising trend line projected off the March 2020 low, intersecting at the 2/3 a downside retracement in the time frame in which the high was made last November. Very simple. It's a dynamic approach to trend identification because every time you put out a new low or a new high, you're recalibrating your speed lines. In any event, it comes in this week, the week of Monday, June 6th, at 11,183.75, rises next week, the week of Monday, June 13th, to 11,222.11. And I've been telling my daily Triple Q subscribers, following the test of that speed line just above the market that you can see we've tested over the last couple of weeks to the upside at 12,685.37 next week, that below which this market should test, or it remains prone to retesting, or not retesting, testing 11,222.11 speed line. Now I slipped, I said retesting because it really is a narrowing range of support. And you can see here that there's a descending channel bottom. And so when I say retesting, I'm talking about that descending channel bottom that we actually tested quite a bit over the last 6 weeks or so. We slipped below it on a weekly basis. We slipped below it, obviously, on a daily basis, but we have never closed below that formation, even on a daily basis. And this is a level that I'm also apprising my daily Triple Q viewers of. This is a narrowing zone of long-term support that begins next week. I don't see us testing it Friday, June 10th, but the day is still young. I'm recording this about an hour into trade. But it's 11,401.46 next week, the week of Monday, June 13th. And that two-thirds speed line is not far below at 11,222.11 the same week of Monday, June 13th. And you can see I've also extended it out to the following week because I'm not sure this is going to become a regular segment. I doubt it. But because I think everybody's cued in on the NASDAQ-100 right now, in particular the tech sector and its influence on the NASDAQ-100, and with the higher inflation that we have and the rising interest rate market and the bearish implications that has for the tech sector, I think that this 11,222.11 to 401.46 area may well be tested next week, the week of Monday, June 13th. And FYI, the following week, you can see in that text, June 21 rises and narrows even more so, 11,260.47 to 97.47. This is a zone of long-term support that can contain selling through the third quarter and quite possibly the rest of the year. And yes, if we were to close below it, that would be a significant long-term sell signal, and I will likely then post another video on YouTube for the NASDAQ 100. But just know, I've got the daily Triple Q. You can always follow that. That will give you the same levels and the same information on a day-by-day basis. So upside, I don't see us doing this next week, but we may. Volatility is high enough. If we've got some deflationary news or some sign that we're hanging in there on that front, or whatever the case may be, it could be anything really. 12,685.37 the week of June 13th. That is next week. If we close above that speed line, and I'm just giving it for you next week. It continues to drop at the same rate. But if we take out that low from May, just keep in mind, that's one of the reasons I don't want to give you the rate at which it's descending, because I don't want you to hang your hat on that level, because if we take out the May low from 4 weeks ago, we reconstruct the speed line. It becomes a different line study altogether. It would be higher in value likely because of the time element. But that's, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds here. This wedge that we see roughly 12,685 to 37 down to 11,222.11. We could fill that wedge out for the next month or so. But if we close above 12,685.37 next week, that would be Friday, June 17th. So if we close the week next week above 12,685.37, that would be Friday, June 17th, then we actually have a meaningful buy signal that should play out well into the third quarter. I would give the 14,722.05 objective, and it would become an objective. So with regard to speed line analysis, and that is the descending two-thirds speed line, and you can see how it's constructed as well. Just a reminder, there's a vertical line there that intersects with that speed line that shows you exactly how it's constructed. It's a descending trend line projected off the November high, intersecting at the two-thirds upside retracement in the time frame in which that May low occurred. And that next week is at 14,722.05. And if we close this week, next week, Friday, June 17th, above 12,685.37, then 14,722.05, or that speed line becomes, I'm going to say, a 2 to 3 month target. We could get up there in about 5 to 8 weeks, perhaps, depending on volatility. It would become an objective that would be realized inside of 2 to 3 months, I would expect. And it can contain quarterly buying pressures when tested, and we could fall off nicely from there, perhaps even into later year. And if settled above the 14,722.05 speed line, we've got a good low for the year, and I would expect bullish continuation through the balance of the year, at least retesting those highs from last November, and more than likely taking them out by the end of the year. way ahead of myself on that one. Just a reminder that if we do close above that 12,685.37, we have a buy signal through the third quarter. And until then, this is, I guess, the image I'll leave you with. Holding below 12,685.37, this market remains on the defensive into July, anticipating over the next few weeks, quite possibly next week, the week of Monday, June 13th, a test of 11,222.11. And that is all I've got for this particular NASDAQ-100 Index update. I may be back next week with another update for the following week. But if I'm not, remember, there's always the daily Triple Q report. We do day by day by day. We don't miss a beat. You have a great weekend.